He went through the house calling out and stopped calling out somewhere around the second room because of what the rooms were like. It is very hard to describe the difference between a house where somebody is out and a house where somebody has stopped. But you know it in about 4 seconds, and then you spend a while arguing with yourself about it. The kitchen was clean. That was the first wrong thing. It was clean the way a kitchen is clean when it has been tidied by somebody who was not the person who lived in it. There was a mug on the drainer, upside down, dry. In the fridge, there was a bottle of milk that had gone through being sour and out the other side, and was now something else entirely, and he shut the fridge again very carefully, the way you close a door on something private. On the wall by the back door, there was a calendar with a photograph of a bridge on it. It was on March. He turned it. April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Nothing written on any of them. He turned it back to March because it felt rude not to, and there was one thing written on it, on the 12th, in the same handwriting as the birthday card.
Bins.
Upstairs there were 2 bedrooms. The first was the old man's. Bed stripped, wardrobe half empty, a chair with a jumper folded over the back of it that somebody had folded properly, which meant somebody else had been in and done it. The second room was at the back, and it was the small one, and it looked over the lock. The bed was made. Not made up for nobody made. Made, sheets, blankets, and eiderdown, folded down at the top, the way you do it for somebody who is coming. There was a towel on the end of it. There was a glass on the bedside table, upside down on a coaster. And along the wall there was a shelf. And the shelf is the thing. If you take one image out of this entire story and carry it around, take the shelf, because it was in order. At the left-hand end there was a plastic dinosaur, and a book about knots, and a torch shaped like a fish. Then a model kit of a trawler, still boxed, still sealed. Then a proper knife in a sheath, the kind you give a boy at about 12. Then a book on the seabirds of the northwest coast. Then a pair of binoculars. Then a book about ships. Then another book about ships. Then a chart of the lock, rolled and tied with string. And at the right-hand end, newest, with the price sticker still on it, a waterproof jacket in a size that would have fitted him about 2 years ago. 8 years of birthdays and Christmases, bought and wrapped and unwrapped again by the person who bought them, and put on a shelf in a room that nobody ever slept in, because every single year the man had been told the boy didn't want to come.
No, 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 no.
He sat down on the floor with his back against the bed, and he still didn't cry, because he had spent 2 years learning that crying is a thing that gets used against you later. He just made a sound, once, and then stopped himself. Under the bed there was a shoebox, not hidden, just under the bed, where you put a thing you look at sometimes. It was full of envelopes, and these ones were different, because these ones had never been posted. They were addressed, and stamped, and sealed, and they had never been put in a post box, and there were about 40 of them, and the dates on the fronts went right up to February. He opened the one on top.
Ellis. Your father telephoned to say you'd rather not, which is his business and I'll not be making a fuss about it. The boat's in the water again. She leaks, but she leaked when your father was your age and he never drowned in her either. The bed's made. It stays made. That's not a complaint, it's just so you know it's there. I'll not send this. There's no sense making a lad feel he owes you. Grandad.
The front door opened downstairs. It opened with a key, without a knock, the way you open a door you have been opening for months.
Who's in here? I said, who's in here? I've got the number for the police in my hand, and I've walked in on worse than you, so...
And then she got to the bottom of the stairs and saw a 17-year-old boy standing on the landing in a coat that didn't fit him, holding a letter, and she stopped.
You joking?
I'm sorry, I'm his grandson. I'm not...
I know who you are. You've got his face. It's horrible.
She was about 19. Hair up, work fleece, boots that had been wet a lot. She had a set of keys in her hand with a bit of orange twine on them, the same twine as the stone.
Is he? Where is he?
And she looked at him for a long time, and something went out of her shoulders.
Oh, God. You don't know.
Know what?
He died in March.
There is a thing that happens where you have known something for hours, and then somebody says it out loud, and it turns out that knowing it and hearing it are not related to each other at all.
Right.
Ellis. Ear.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
He sat down on the top step, quite carefully, like a man putting down something heavy.
The 12th of March. In the house. In the chair. I found him on the Thursday.
He found him.
I came up Tuesdays and Thursdays for the last year and a bit. Shopping, tablets, that. Getting him down the stairs.
Was he...
He was warm on the Tuesday and he wasn't on the Thursday. That's all there is. It's not a story.
And then something arrived in her face, and it had been waiting 7 months to arrive, and it went off like a flare.
Where were you?
I didn't...
I did the funeral. Me and Ross Munro and 11 other folk in the hall. And the minister asked, was there family? And I had to stand there and say, aye, there's family. Your father sent an email. An email to the solicitor. He didn't come. So where were you?
I didn't know.
Everybody knew.
I didn't know. I found a birthday card in a drawer 4 days ago. That's... That's the first time I knew he sent me anything, ever. They opened them. All of them. They took the money out and they put them in a drawer.
And Isla Bain, who had been carrying 7 months of a very specific and very satisfying anger about a boy in England who couldn't be bothered, put it down. It is not a nice thing to put down a thing like that. It's heavier on the ground than it is in your arms.
Oh. Right. I'll put the kettle on. There's no power. I'll do it on the gas.
She stayed about an hour. She showed him where the stopcock was, and how the immersion worked, and which of the 2 rings on the cooker was the one that lit. She did not hug him. She did not say anything comforting. She was 19, and she had done the funeral, and she was fresh out.
I'll come up tomorrow.
You don't have to.
I've come up every week since March. I'm not stopping because you turned up.
And she went. And Ellis stood in the hall of his grandfather's house in the dark, and looked at the telephone on the hall table. It was a beige one, with a dial and a cord that went into the skirting board. He picked it up. There was a dial tone. He got his mobile out of the coat that wasn't his, and turned it on, and put it on the hall table, and dialed his own number on the old beige phone with the dial, and stood there. And his mobile rang. It rang in that hall, off that table, from that phone, in that house. which meant that on the night he called, at 2 minutes to midnight, from a kitchen floor 400 miles away, this telephone had rung 22 times in this hall with nobody in the house.
Oh.
And that was when he finally did it. Not upstairs at the shelf, not on the step when she said the word, standing in a cold hall, holding a phone, listening to himself ring,